Hey everybody, this is Al Johnson from the Al Johnson Show, and once again, I'm doing a spoiler review for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Yesterday, I touched on the cameos that appeared in the movie, but mainly talking about the performance by Tom Holland as well as Peter Parker's emotional arc throughout the movie. Well, today, I want to now touch on new subject or subjects, I should say, and these subjects are John Bernthal's The Punisher and Mark Ruffalo's The Hulk. Now, first off, if you guys want to be a part of the journey that is the Al Johnson Show, or you want to continue along my channel, make sure you all do the following. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell whenever new videos are released. Number two, I'd like to apologize for something. I forgot to mention this in yesterday's video, so I thought I would remedy that by briefly talking about it here. But also, with that being said, let's get into the things. What I forgot to mention yesterday was the incredible action sequences in the movie that Tom Holland pulls off, especially the fight scene with the Hand, the ninjas from Daredevil, and the camera work and the lighting and the score throughout it, as well as Peter finally showcasing his controlling of the spider DNA while still being in touch with his human side. I thought that was a brilliant way about it, and the wire work and the choreography was something else entirely, and might be up there with like best Spider-Man final battles ever. So that's what I wanted to say. And now on to the real thing, which is this. I remembered, I believe it was months ago, maybe even last year, when I read online that for Spider-Man Brand New Day, John Bernthal would return as the Punisher and Mark Ruffalo would return as Bruce Banner Hulk. I remember thinking, one, those are some interesting characters to be in a Spider-Man movie. Two, I wonder how these characters are going to be used and if it's going to service the story. And three, most importantly of all, will their inclusion either help, either increase their characters or decrease them? And a week ago, watching the movie, I can safely say it has helped the characters. So, starting out with the Punisher, while I still have yet to see his 2-season Netflix series, I promise I will get on that. But I have seen John Bernthal's Punisher appear in season 1 of Daredevil Born Again, as well as his R-rated Disney Plus special presentation, One Last Kill, which I reviewed on the channel. If you guys have not seen my review or seen One Last Kill, please watch those things. And in it, part of me was a little worried about Punisher being in it. Not because John Bernthal couldn't put it off. I knew he could. The worrying was about the fact that it's a PG-13 movie. And part of me worried that it wouldn't feel like the same Punisher that I have seen, and how would it coalesce in this movie. And like I briefly mentioned yesterday, with Tom Holland's interactions and his dynamic with the Punisher, it ended up being some of my favorite bits of the entire movie. Apologies for my dog. But anyway, hey boy. He's just relaxing. Yeah, they were like some of my favorite bits of the whole movie, especially the running gag between them about what happened on Staten Island, where Spider-Man saved the Punisher's life, and although the Punisher acts like, oh please, like I needed your help, deep down inside he's thankful someone looked out for him when he didn't need to. And one thing I love about John Bernthal's Punisher in this movie was that, for the most part, oh, here's a cameo. Here's a cameo. Apologies. Excuse me. Say hello to the people, dude. Yeah. So if you don't mind, he's gonna chill with us for a little bit. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I loved how it was still John Bernthal acting like the Punisher, even though he was somewhat toned down for this movie, but it still felt like the Punisher. Not just his actions, but the way he spoke. When I see him interact with Daredevil, and also seeing him in season 2 of the Netflix show, I forgot to mention, seeing how he interacts with Daredevil, there is somewhat a level of respect between them, but he kind of doesn't like Daredevil because of their different thoughts and views on how they handle justice. You can kind of get that same thing with him and Spider-Man, except Daredevil is an adult, Punisher is an adult, and both of them like try to argue against each other's thoughts and views. Whereas with Peter, who although he's in his early 20s, he's still practically a kid in Punisher's eyes because he's like I don't know, like 30s, 40s, however old the Punisher is in the MCU, and he actually has genuine love for Spider-Man, even if he kind of doesn't always show it. Especially like the first time we see them interacting, where Punisher hits Peter with his fan, and once again wants to resort to shooting, and Peter's like, "Don't do, you can't do that, Frank. Innocent lives are at stake." And just the dynamic, the banter they have, or when Peter takes MJ to Frank's hideout that's booby trapped, and Punisher like, you're losing your touch there, kid. Could almost scrambled you, and there would be nothing left to scrape up. Then when Peter once again brings up Staten Island and says, "Frank, you're the only one that I trust. I have nowhere else to go. I need your help." Punisher's like, "Okay, I'll help you," and the way he hits it off with MJ a little bit, but really his interaction with Spider-Man was truly great, especially when Punisher tries to be all like, who's that girl? Who is she to you? She's nobody, Frank. Oh, please. I'm serious, Frank. She's nothing. She's nothing. Nothing to me. I'm just like you. I keep to myself. I don't have anybody. And Punisher is offended hearing that. It's like, what do you know about me, kid? He doesn't say, "Let me tell you something." Although I know it was kind of in the script, like, I bet you I was going to say it. But the way Punisher explains himself, it's like, a kid, you think this is a luxury? You think I like being isolated? No, I don't. If I had 1/10 of what you have with your powers, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. If I had 1/10 of what you had, people I know would still be alive. Even saying, "Oh, you think I hide behind some mask like a coward?" Which is something he always says to Daredevil or whatnot. But I feel like he kind of doesn't mean it when he says it to Peter. And then when MJ guilt trips Punisher into helping Peter, and they have that great fight sequence with the Hulk, which I know from a realistic point of view is like, Punisher should not be going against the Hulk. The Hulk would squish him like a bug. But he put a nice effort. And also the way towards the end of the movie, when Punisher calls up Spider-Man and says, "You better handle this Jean Grey character or else I'm going to, and you don't want me to do that." And he sets up the sniper on the roof to shoot Jean Grey point blank range. Spider-Man takes the bullet for her, and you see the look on Punisher's face when he realizes who he hit. And he stayed with them. He even carried him to the hospital, like that famous panel from one of those comic books. I think the Civil War comics. And he stays with Peter throughout the time in the hospital. And it says, "Kid, what you did was brave. And I've seen some brave men in my life, but what you did was brave." Even crying. And Peter's like, "Are you crying?" Coming back to earlier, like, "What are you doing here, Frank? I'm here to watch out for you. The girl says I gotta watch out for you." She said that? Are you blushing? Are you blushing, Daffodil? No, I'm not blushing. You're blushing. Again, beautiful dynamic. And and also saying, "Hey, you sneak on out of here. I'll distract the people," and puts on the Spider-Man mask and distracts the people. I apologize, my dog. And there's a whole his famous grunting, which is kind of funny, but shows how he cares for Peter. But like I said, his fighting with the Hulk was great stuff. And speaking of the Hulk, which I won't fully dive into because I'm saving that for his own full-length video, but I'll briefly touch upon here. When we see Bruce Banner, Professor Hulk in this, and he's trying to teach class about science, and they're basically treating it as like it's a celebrity seminar because it's the Hulk, and when I ask him questions about Thanos and the Avengers, all this and that, and Peter seeks him out because of his spider mutation DNA, and says, "Hey, what about the inhibitor thing that keeps the Hulk away? What if I were to make something like that that would suppress some parts of DNA?" And Hulk is like, Banner's like, "Who?" This is like, how would you decide what parts of nature are good or bad? Why would you suppress something that needs to be expressed? Having a little little think piece about what Peter's suggestion. And if you guys know your X-Men, you know about this thing Peter's talking about, which when I talk about Jean Grey, I'll get fully into that. But when Spider-Man goes to confront Jean and she possesses the Hulk and we see Small Hulk, it was the first time you ever saw Small Hulk be scary. And he starts fighting Spider-Man and starts fighting the Punisher. And then when he helps Banner push Jean Grey out and Banner's back to normal after Punisher himself got possessed, which was kind of funny. And you see Banner tries to fight off the Hulk. He says, "Oh, what happened, Banner? I think she broke something. Is she still in there?" "No, it's the other guy." And you see Banner scared for what's coming out. I can't control it. And he hulks out for the first time since the first Avengers movie, like fully hulks out. And then you hear the Hulk say for the first time in many years, he says, "No Banner, no girl, only Hulk." And I remember saying out loud in the theater, finally, Hulk fans can shut up about this because people have been begging and crying for the Savage Hulk to come back. And the way he was whooping Spider-Man was, dare I say, exquisite. And of course, it was exciting to see Savage Hulk because it makes sense for the story. Again, I'll fully dive on this when I get to talking about the Hulk himself in a separate video. But Hulk, although he beat Spider-Man, Peter's warmth and kindness got through to him, and Hulk was able to stop. And Banner was tucked away in the back of the hospital off to some psych ward or the raft or whatnot. Even again, be like, did I hurt somebody? Am I hurt? Is everybody okay? Which is showing basically both Punisher and Hulk are showing basically ways of what happens when you isolate yourself or suppress something for far too long. Showing Peter, this is what happens. Whether you're the Punisher or you're the Hulk, when you isolate or suppress something too long, bad stuff happens. Again, I apologize for my dog. And overall, the usage of Punisher and the Hulk in this movie greatly helped both their characters and greatly helped out this movie and were some of my favorite parts of the movie. And once again, guys, that's my second spoiler review for Spider-Man Brand New Day. I gotta tend to my dog. He's going nuts. Thank you all for watching. Let me know down below how you guys feel about Punisher and Hulk in this movie. If you've seen it, let me know down below. And as always, guys, thank you all for watching. I've been Al Johnson, and I'm Spider-Man.